If you like these videos, if you like what I share, please click the button below to subscribe to my channel. Hey Star Chasers, so I'm out in the garden today. I know, surprise. Some of the garden beds need to be cleaned out so that I can start my fall crops. The carrot bed here, this one right here, terribly out of control. My chamomile bed, which ended up being nothing but yarrow, and one alfalfa plant is getting decimated, other than the alfalfa and the 2 grapes that are in there. So everything else is getting pulled out, and I'm going to cover it, probably some weed barrier, just to try and get it under control and be able to plant chamomile in there. I'm hoping that I get enough chamomile this fall to be able to save away for some tea during the winter. So that's what I'm doing today. And next week we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture coming out. There is a high tunnel initiative program. It's a grant program through the EQIP, and I have an application in with them for a high tunnel. So they're going to be coming out and doing a farm survey, site visit, so they can kind of give me an idea of what I need to do to prepare for it, and we'll find out probably March of 2022 whether I'm approved for the grant program or not. So it is a long process, it is a long wait. My application went in March of 2020, so I've been waiting quite a long time already. So at this point I'm gonna head over and start on the bed that has all the yarrow in it and get that cleaned up. So let's go that way. So this is the bed that I'm having to dig up and replant. I am going to keep this alfalfa. The rabbits seem to really like it, so we're going to keep that, but we're going to take out all the yarrow. There wasn't supposed to be yarrow in this bed anyway. It was supposed to be chamomile, but the yarrow basically took over the whole thing. And I thought, no big deal in the beginning. Now I'm thinking big deal. I've also, I stole Wes's Samsung tablet, and I've been using it to kind of track some of my crops and harvests. So I bought a case for it. I've been able to kind of take it around and use it in the garden with me and snap pictures, integrate it into some of my garden planning software that I've been using, and it seems to be working pretty good, so I think I'm going to keep it. So anyway, I'm going to get this this bed done and then move on to the next one. I did plant a whole lot of cucumbers, way more than what I really need, so I'm going to pull some of those out or trim them up quite a bit. That way they're not taking over the garden beds as much. So I'm gonna get on this and I'll see you in a little bit. So I finally got the bed cleaned up. I had to do a whole lot more digging than what I like to do. Normally it's a chop and drop situation, but with yarrow it spreads through the roots and the seeds, so you really got to dig it up and try and pull as many roots as possible out. So at this point I'm gonna lay down some weed fabric. That way I can help kill off what yarrow is left. It is an invasive plant, even though it's medicinal and there's great benefits to it. If you have it in your garden, you're going to have it everywhere in your garden if you don't maintain control. And I didn't, because I'm not a perfect gardener, as we have obviously been able to see here. So I'm going to flatten this out, level it out a little bit, and then go get the weed barrier and top this off. So we'll see you in a minute. Field mice. So the thing with weed fabric is it doesn't last very long. So if you put weed fabric down and you put rocks on top of it, it might last 2 years. It tends to break down after that. So I'm not too worried about how it looks or how long it's gonna last. I just laid it down so I can get the majority of the yarrow to possibly die. If not, then I'll try something different, or I'll just have to keep digging it up. I mean, that's the that's the troubles of having yarrow in your garden, that you don't maintain it properly. So it was my fault. I am not a perfect gardener, and I'll admit that from the very beginning. I am learning. I'm trying to do better every year as I grow more things, and I tend to make mistakes. Doesn't mean I'm a bad gardener. It just means I make mistakes like everyone else. So I'm going to move on to the next bed and start preparing it for the fall crop. So let's go over the carrots. So my carrot bed, it's a 4 foot by 8 foot section that I started growing last year, and I didn't get much of a crop out of it. So I left what little carrots were over here on this corner, and as you can see, they've mostly all gone to seed. They are a hybrid carrot, so from the seed I'm not going to get anything like the parent plant. So if you do decide to save your seeds from a hybrid, just know that it will produce. It just won't produce what the parent plant looked like, so it may be different. And when I save the seeds and produce carrots for next year, it won't look like the same carrot. So that's just one of those things that they'll still produce. So if that's all you have, plant it. There's nothing wrong with planting the seed of a hybrid. It will produce. It just won't produce the parent plant. If you are wanting to save the seeds, even if it's a hybrid, basically you're going to take this dead head, just like this, which is different than the live one. You can see the difference between the two. This one has seeds and this one still has blossoms. So you take this and you put it in a paper bag and you let it continue drying from there. From that, you're going to have a million seeds. I can see how many seeds are on here already just from this one head. The seed we can produce food from. We don't have to rely on the system that is so broke to provide us with food. We can provide our own food. Even if it's a hybrid, we can still provide our own food. It does not matter if it's a hybrid or an heirloom. You can save the seeds and you can provide your family with food. It's that simple. So this bed needs to be cleaned out. I'm probably not going to get the whole thing done today. There is a lot to do and a lot to trim. So I'm going to get started on this and we'll see how far we get. All right, see you in a minute. Hey, so I'm taking a little bit of a break. I did get through the carrot bed and I found some different type of beets. So I planted 4 different types of beets and I must have missed these. Have no idea how I could have missed these. But I'm going to chop them up tonight and probably put them in a salad or something and have them for dinner. I'm sure Wes is going to love it because he loves beets. Anyway, so as I was talking about the seeds, saving your seeds, planting your own seeds, growing your own garden, it's never too late. If you're unfamiliar with the Holodomor, I would recommend you go take a look at that. Look at what government did to people and had zero problem doing it. It wasn't that distant in the past that it happened. And when I learned about that And then I saw the things that were happening here in the United States, and I watched our food chain go under. Our supply chain was hindered in many different ways. You can claim the virus. You can claim all kinds of different stuff. But as I'm watching things happen and the history that I have learned, especially the Holodomor, it concerned me. It concerned me enough that I started growing a larger garden. In March of 2020, I saw things and knew stuff was going to happen. So I decided that I was going to expand my own homestead, and I was going to do what I could to help others around me. And so early 2021, my garden became about 5,000 square feet. And so I provide a lot of food for people in my area in order for them to have stuff and know that they have the ability to come by and get what they need. But it concerned me enough that I needed to do something. So I did. I came out and I expanded my garden to 5,000 square feet. It's not as big as I'm wanting. So this fall it's going to expand even further. Again, I have the year-round greenhouse where I grow citrus trees and other types of plants and vegetables that I can plant all year round. And I grow my food. I grow my animals' food, and I do what I can in order to make sure that I'm secure and that I can eventually help others and their security. Sorry, I'm just taking a look around the garden, make sure everything's up to just par and see what I need to maintain and manage. A lot of times squash bugs will show up unexpectedly and devastate a plant, just destroy it. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing that and getting those before it becomes a huge problem. And I'm waiting for my beans to start producing, which it looks like there's a lot of blossoms, but not a lot of beans. So still waiting on the beans. With everything that's been happening, I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide for myself. And well, there's my corn patch. I'm highly allergic to the pollen, but I'm growing corn because it's a good carbohydrate source. So that with beans and squash and peppers. Peppers, oh my goodness, I love peppers. I can't tell you how much I love peppers. I got to come out here and harvest a bunch of these, and I think I want to make some cowboy candy. I've never done that before, so I'll make a video kind of showing how I do it, how I'm learning to make cowboy candy, and we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I just like to walk around the garden and make sure that everything is doing good and there's no huge infestation in any of my plants. One of the things I did this year, which was, I guess, I would have to say was one of the best things I've been able to come up with. And while my peppers are stunted, I kind of explained that in one of my other videos, they got planted out late May, and our last frost is about mid-May. But for some reason we ended up having this cold front that came through, and it just stunted all of my pepper plants. But what was left over, I wanted to preserve. So as I was planting stuff, planting collards, planting mustards and lettuce, chard, and kale, I planted them next to the peppers, and I found that the aphids attacked these plants here. And I didn't plant very many because I'm not a real big fan of collards or kale. I definitely don't eat any kale. But the aphids attacked these plants and completely avoided my peppers. It was, I gotta say, the best decision ever. So every year from now on, I am going to plant some type of a lettuce plant, a leafy green plant next to my peppers, so that if I get aphids, they'll attack those and leave my peppers alone. So basically, I gotta trim that. So basically what I did was I sacrificed some plants for the benefit of the rest, and it worked out really, really well. Those are purple sweet potatoes. And it's not just the skin that is purple, it's the meat as well. It is so hot in here. I am a baby because it's only 94. Oh my God. I cannot believe that. I guess I'm getting acclimated to the colder temperature. It's August and it's cold. I don't know why. I've had to turn the fans off and close the windows up in the greenhouse at night because it's been getting down in the 40s. And some of my citrus plants don't like it to be in the 40s. So I have to monitor that. So I got to show you my mango. So excited about my mango. So if you're like me and you're concerned about the food system breaking down, things not being in the store shelves, start your garden now. The easiest thing to get started is lettuce. Right now is the perfect time to start your lettuce. You can do that indoors, you can do that outdoors, you can do it in pots, you can do it in the ground. If you can produce your own produce, you're one step ahead of many people out there. So get started on your lettuce. You can do herbs in your windowsill. You can do all kinds of stuff. You don't need a greenhouse to do that. You just need a windowsill, really. Just get started. So with that, I hope you the best. I really do, and I hope that you get started soon. So we'll see you next time, and good luck in your gardens. Bye for now.